I'm the most annoying guy on set because I'm saying, excuse me, you do realize that this should be happening and they wouldn't do that, and you haven't read this, that means this would be impossible. And everyone's just going, Henry, just shut up and do the thing. And I'm like, I don't want to do the thing because he wouldn't do it this way, and he can do this.
And it was not even a year ago where Henry very publicly said that he is committed to doing the planned 7 seasons of the Netflix Witcher on one condition. That condition being that the writers can manage to tell great stories while honoring the source material this show is apparently meant to be based on. Now,
okay, well that actually does fucking indicate something, doesn't it? Let's read this again. Absolutely, he says, and this is a quote, as long as we can keep telling great stories which honor Sapkowski's work. So I wonder what the odds are that a Netflix series isn't going to honor the original content of which the series is built off.
Were you familiar with this, the Watcher before you, The Witcher?
The Witcher,
before
yeah.
you started?
I hadn't seen the TV show, and I hadn't read the book.
What's this? Oh, I saw this. Henry Cavill says he's not a fan of sex scenes in film and television and believes that they're mostly a bit of a cop-out. Fucking true. Absolutely true.
It's when you have a sense that you're going, is this really necessary? Or is it people just with less clothing on?
Right.
And that's where you start to get more uncomfortable and you're thinking, there's not a performance here. TV show or a movie is just filled with sort of gyrating bodies and you're going, okay,
Right.
But I mean, what is this doing for us apart from the idea of like, oh, naked person, great.
Nobody expected The Witcher to turn into a battlefield behind the cameras. On screen, it's supposed to be monsters, magic, and destiny. But off-screen, something far more chaotic has been unfolding. Tension, silence, and decisions that slowly pushed the entire show toward collapse. And at the center of it all stands Henry Cavill. For years, he wasn't just the face of Geralt of Rivia, he was the heartbeat of the character. Fans didn't just watch him act, they believed him. So when whispers started spreading that Cavill had finally spoken out against the writers of Season 4, calling them out for how the story was being handled after his exit, the internet didn't just react, it exploded. But what really happened behind the scenes? And why does it feel like this story is bigger than just one actor leaving a show? To understand that, we have to go back to where it all began. When Henry Cavill was first cast as Geralt, people were unsure. Some even doubted it completely. But Cavill had something most actors in big franchises don't. He wasn't pretending to care. He was already a fan. He knew the books, he knew the games. He understood the world of The Witcher in a way that felt almost personal. While many actors learn their roles from scripts alone, Cavill came in with questions. He cared about tone, about lore, about the emotional weight behind every line Geralt spoke. People on set often said he didn't just act like Geralt, he questioned things like Geralt would, quiet, intense, observant. And slowly, fans started noticing something different. This wasn't just another fantasy adaptation performance. This felt grounded, heavy, real. But behind that success, tension was quietly building. As the show progressed, changes began to appear. The tone started shifting. The storyline started moving away from the darker, more philosophical roots of the original source material. Instead, the series began leaning into lighter dialogue, faster pacing, and creative choices that didn't always match the books or games Cavill loved so much. At first, it was subtle, small changes in dialogue, adjustments in character direction. But for someone like Cavill, who understood the world deeply, those small changes weren't invisible. And that's where the friction began. According to industry whispers, Cavill often pushed back during production meetings. He would ask why certain scenes were changed, or why specific character decisions didn't align with established lore. It wasn't rebellion, it was passion. But in Hollywood, passion sometimes turns into conflict when creative visions don't match. Still, he stayed. He continued playing Geralt with full commitment. Season after season, he carried the emotional weight of the character, while rumors of behind-the-scenes disagreements slowly grew louder. Then came the turning point. By the time discussions around season 4 began, things had already shifted dramatically. Writers were reportedly heading in a new direction for the show, one that prioritized broader appeal and creative freedom over strict adaptation. Meanwhile, Cavill was reportedly advocating for something closer to the original tone, darker, more faithful, more grounded. And that's when everything reportedly broke. What nobody expected was how quickly things escalated. When news broke that Cavill would not return as Geralt, fans were stunned. At first, there was confusion, then denial, then anger, because for many viewers, The Witcher without Henry Cavill didn't feel like The Witcher anymore. But behind the official statements and polite industry language, rumors started circulating. Some claimed Cavill didn't just leave, he stepped away because he felt the vision of the show no longer matched what he believed it should be. And then came the moment that turned speculation into wildfire. Whispers began spreading online that Cavill had indirectly spoken out about Season 4's direction, not through interviews, not through official statements, but in comments and private conversations that somehow made their way into public discussion. According to these rumors, Cavill wasn't attacking anyone personally, he was allegedly disappointed, deeply disappointed, not just with his departure, but with the direction the story had taken after it. And here's where things got even more intense. As Season 4 development continued, leaks and production updates started surfacing online. New casting choices, new tone shifts, new creative decisions that fans immediately noticed felt different, almost disconnected from what had come before. And every time something new appeared, one question kept coming back louder than the rest. Was Henry Cavill all along? Fans began revisiting old interviews, old behind-the-scenes clips, moments where Cavill carefully explained why certain scenes mattered, or why staying true to the source material was important for the story's identity. At the time, those moments seemed like simple passion, but now they felt like warnings. Meanwhile, the fandom started splitting into two emotional sides. One side hoped the show could evolve and survive without him. The other side believed his departure marked the beginning of its downfall. And in the middle of that storm, the narrative around Season 4 started to change completely. Because suddenly, it wasn't just about casting anymore. It was about trust. It was about whether the original soul of The Witcher had been preserved or slowly rewritten into something unrecognizable. Behind the scenes, insiders hinted that tensions between creative teams and past cast members had never fully disappeared. Some even suggested that Cavill's absence created a void not just in performance, but in creative direction. A voice that once pushed for authenticity was no longer there. And that's when the tone of the conversation shifted again. Because fans began believing that Cavill wasn't just leaving a role, he was stepping away from a fight he could no longer win. As Season 4 footage and updates continued to roll out, reaction channels exploded with comparisons, side-by-side breakdowns of earlier seasons versus what was coming next. Every detail was analyzed: the costume design, the tone of dialogue, even Geralt's physical portrayal. And almost everywhere, one sentiment kept appearing: this doesn't feel the same. But here's the twist. The deeper the criticism grew, the stronger the narrative around Cavill became. Because instead of fading away, his version of Geralt became more iconic in hindsight. His performance wasn't just remembered, it was elevated. Fans started calling him the true Geralt, not out of nostalgia, but out of belief that his approach had been the most faithful to the world itself. And that's when the emotional weight of the situation fully hit. Because now, Season 4 wasn't just a continuation, it was a comparison, a constant shadow of what once was. As discussions about Cavill calling out the writers intensified online, it didn't come from a single statement. It came from interpretation, from frustration, from fans connecting dots between interviews, changes in direction, and the growing divide between creative vision and audience expectation. Whether or not he directly confronted anyone in public didn't even matter anymore. The story had already taken on a life of its own. And in that story, Henry Cavill had become more than an actor who left a show. He became a symbol of creative conflict in modern Hollywood, the struggle between staying faithful to a world and reshaping it for a new direction. The emotional impact of all this hit both sides hard. For Cavill, stepping away meant leaving behind a character he genuinely cared about, a world he invested years into building, a role that wasn't just work, but identity. For fans, it meant losing a version of Geralt they had grown emotionally attached to, a version shaped by restraint, depth, and quiet intensity. And for the show itself, it meant facing a future where every decision would be measured against what came before. Because once an actor becomes inseparable from a role in the eyes of the audience, replacing them is never just a production choice. It becomes an emotional fracture. As Season 4 approaches, the pressure is no longer just about storytelling. It's about legacy, and whether the world of The Witcher can survive without the man who, for many, defined its soul. In the end, this isn't just a story about a recasting. It's about what happens when passion, creativity, and vision collide in a way that leaves no easy winner. Henry Cavill didn't just play Geralt, he became the standard, and now everything that follows will always be measured against him. And in the end, when all the noise settles, when the trailers stop trending and the headlines fade into the background, one truth still remains sitting heavy in the hearts of the fans. The Witcher was never just about monsters, magic, or kingdoms fighting for power. It was about a character who walked through chaos with silence in his eyes and weight in his soul. And for many people, that version of Geralt will always be connected to one name, Henry Cavill. Because whether the industry admits it or not, there are performances that don't just play a role, they define it. And Cavill's Geralt was one of those rare moments where an actor didn't just step into a character, he rebuilt it with respect, discipline, and emotional depth that fans could feel in every scene. That's why this story hurts so many people. Not because actors change, that happens all the time in Hollywood, but because something about this change felt different. It felt like a disconnect between what was loved and what was being built next. And once that connection breaks in the eyes of the audience, it's almost impossible to fully repair it. Now, as Season 4 moves forward without him, the conversations continue to grow louder. Some people are curious, some are hopeful, and some are still holding on to what once was, replaying old scenes, old moments, old memories of a version of Geralt that felt irreplaceable. But maybe that's the real story underneath all of this. Maybe this was never just about one actor leaving a show. Maybe it's about what happens when passion inside a story clashes with the direction of those shaping it. Maybe it's about how quickly a world built with care can start to feel unfamiliar when even the smallest creative balance shifts. And maybe it's also about how deeply fans can connect to something when it feels real. Because real storytelling leaves an imprint. It stays long after the credits roll. It becomes part of how people remember a character, a scene, a feeling. And that's exactly what Henry Cavill left behind. Not just a role, but a standard that fans will keep comparing everything else to. So now the question isn't just what Season 4 will look like. The question is whether it can ever make people feel the same way again. And maybe that answer will only come with time, but until then, one thing is certain. This conversation isn't ending anytime soon. It's evolving, growing, turning into something bigger than just a show. it's becoming a moment people will look back on and talk about for years. Because some departures don't close a chapter, they redefine the entire story. And if you've been following this journey, if you've felt the highs, the frustrations, and everything in between, then you already know this isn't just another entertainment update. It's a reminder of how powerful storytelling becomes when people truly care about it. And now I want to hear from you. Do you think The Witcher can survive without Henry Cavill, or was his version of Geralt truly irreplaceable? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation belongs to all of us. And if you made it this far, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who follows The Witcher, and subscribe for more deep dives into the biggest stories in entertainment. Because this is just the beginning, and there's always more behind the scenes than what we're shown on screen.